So let's continue with the next round of questions. Now we're going to create a restore point and call it initial. Now what does that mean? That means, well, we've just set up our computer, we just installed it, and we've configured things, and everything is running perfectly. All right, so what we want to do is we want to create a snapshot, a picture of that configuration when it's running perfectly. In the future, a week, a month, a year, when it's not running smoothly and there are problems, we installed things we shouldn't have installed, maybe there are viruses, it's running slowly, well, guess what? We can go back in time. We can do what's called a system restore, and we can go back and restore the system to the way it was before. So that's like taking your computer, putting it in a time machine, and sending it back in time, and it will undo any changes that you made since the point where you created that restore point. So go to the search box in the lower left corner, type restore point or create a restore point, and you should see a window like this one here. Oops. Okay. And the first thing we need to do is we need to configure a restore point. Okay, so you just click create restore point, and then in the future, when you want to go back in time, okay, you click system restore. So let's go ahead and try this out now. And it does take a few minutes. It can be a little bit slow. So let's create a restore point. So this is a snapshot or a picture of the way our computer is right now. We'll call it initial. Click create. And now it just has to gather all the information on the system, and then we can proceed to the next step. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video for a minute. You can also pause your video and just do what I just did right there, and I'll be right back. So I'm back now, and we can see here that the restore point was created successfully. We click close. Okay, and now you're asked to make some changes to your configuration. So download any program you want, doesn't matter what it is, and install it. So you can download Java, you can download Adobe Acrobat Reader. It really doesn't matter what you download. So just go ahead and install it, and then you want to perform a system restore. Okay, so after you perform a system restore, whatever changes that you had made, okay, whatever configuration changes you had made in between this step here and this step over here will be removed. So in order to do a system restore, I'm not going to do it right now, but it's very easy. I'll show you the step. You just come over here, you click on System Restore. You can undo system changes by reverting your computer to a previous restore point. So you click on it, and then you just simply follow the dialog. It's going to show you different restore points. That's the one we just created right there. And we would select it, and we would just finish, and it will restore our computer to the way it was before. And if you're not completely convinced, well, you can do other things in the middle here. Okay, so this is creating the restore point, and this is restoring your system. Do as much as you want in the middle. Maybe change the theme, maybe change your desktop, apply any changes you want, and then when you do that system restore, all of those changes will be removed. So this is an important exercise, and this is a very useful way of recovering a damaged operating system, or one that is not optimized perfectly. Then in question 23, we're going to create a folder on our desktop called important, and put any two text files in there. So I think I've done that already. If I go to my desktop, okay, let's say I'm keeping my important files in there. Okay, just put any two files you like in there. And what are we going to do? Well, we're going to back those files up, but we're not going to back them up just by copying them. We're going to back them up by using the backup utility. Okay, but before we can do that, where are we going to back it up to? Now, when you use the backup utility, you can back up to the network, you can back up to a DVD burner, or you can back up to your external USB device. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go to our USB drive and create a folder there called backup. So let's scroll down. Let's find our USB device. Here it is. In my case, it's E. With you, it could be any drive letter. So just locate that. And the files that are going to be backed up are going to be kept in this folder right there. Okay, so we have files on our desktop, and they're going, let's see the files again. Right here, any files in there, and they're going to go to that backup folder on the external USB device. Okay, so there we go. So we've created the folder. Now we want to launch the backup utility, okay, and to perform the backup. So what we do is we come down here, and don't type backup, type control panel. Bring up the control panel. When you bring it up, you might have the new control panel. Looks like this. Okay. What you want to do is you want to get the old-fashioned control panel. Select large icons, and that's the tool. That's the backup utility there that will let us back up to DVD, to a network location, or to an external USB device. So I'm going to click on that. Okay, and we can see right up here, backup and restore files. Now we're not backing up our system. This is not the configuration backup that we did before. This is a backup of our important files, and then later on we'll see how we can restore them. So click set up a backup. And we can see recommended locations where we can back up to. If you don't see your external device here, you can actually add it. Okay, click refresh a few times. And if you still don't see it, you can click save on the network, click browse, and you should be able to find your computer and then save it to your USB drive there. But I have my USB drive there already. So I'm going to select it. And then we have two options here. We can let Windows decide what to back up. And what Windows is going to do when it backs up is it's going to go through all these files here, your pictures, your documents, you know, anything that Windows thinks might be important, it's going to back it up. I don't want to do that. I don't want to rely on the default behavior of Windows. I want to select my important files instead. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to select instead, let me choose. Okay, so we click next. And it's making a recommendation. I'm going to deselect everything I see there. Okay, a lot of files. All right, instead, I'm going to choose myself. So I'm going to expand it here. Okay, I'm going to scroll down. Remember, we have all the user folders here. In Linux, we call them home directories. Let's click that open. Let me go to my account. That's my account right there. Let me locate my desktop. Okay, and oops, sorry, that's not the desktop. Desktop is right here. And on my desktop, we found it, the important folders. So that could be a little bit hard, so I'm going to go through that again. Okay, so we start by deselecting everything that Windows thinks should be backed up. You expand your C drive. You go to Users. You locate your user account. That's my user account. You go to your own desktop. Notice that I'm just expanding here. I'm not clicking any of the checkboxes. And when I finally find what I want to back up, I put a check mark on it and I click Next. That's the only thing that's going to be backed up. And just to be sure, make sure you take a look that you didn't accidentally put a check mark on anything else. Only the important files will be backed up. Now, this part down here, it says include an image of drives, and this includes a lot more system information than we need. We're not going to back that up. So make sure you deselect this here. We're only backing up files, our important files. We click Next, and we click Save Settings and run the backup. Takes just a few minutes, and it's done. Oop, no, it's still running. You can see it running right there. Shouldn't take too long. I'm just going to pause the video for one moment until the backup is complete. So the backup has now been completed. So let's go ahead and take a look at the files. So I'm going to go down to my E drive where I performed my backup. I can see it. I can see the backup file is right there, and then there's this additional file which has more information about the backup. So now we're ready to do a restore. So let's go back to those important files. Here they are. That's what we backed up. I'm going to delete those important files that I backed up. Right click, delete. Okay, let's see if we can restore those files. So we did the backup from the top portion here. Now we're going to do the restore down here. So we click Restore, and we go ahead and do a browse for files, what we're going to restore. Okay, and what we're going to restore again, we'll just pick exactly what it was that we deleted. We are going to restore these two files that are not there. So we click Add Files, and those are the two files that are going to be restored. So we click Next, and then it asks, where do you want these restored files to go? Let's choose the same location, the original location. If we go there now, okay, Desktop, Important Files, we see that location is empty. So we'll choose the original location and click Restore, and hopefully the files will be restored to that location. So let's go back, and there they are. Those are the files that we lost, that were deleted accidentally or corrupted, and we were able to restore them from backup.